Dillian the Body Snatcher White here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
So about 3 or 4 weeks ago, when the WBC first announced that the winner of Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, which of course turned out to be Tyson Fury, will defend that WBC World Heavyweight title against the WBC Interim World Heavyweight Champion, i.e. Dillian Whyte next, I said that should Dillian Whyte get past Otto Wallin, which of course I fully expected him to do so, I would be speaking to Dillian once the negotiation period started about encouraging him to take this fight to purse bid. Now, thankfully, Tyson Fury beat Deontay Wilder, and of course, Dillian Whyte is no longer fighting Otto Wallin due to injury. So you're like, it is actually legit. Don't really care if you believe it or not. But that's the situation. Fury versus Dillian Whyte. Yes, I will still suggest to Dillian to take it to purse bid. Listen, he didn't have to listen to me. Of course not. Of course not. But as per Barry Hearn's interview, he also said the same thing that I did. Take it to purse bid. Now, my reasons may be a little bit different to Barry Hearn, although we are kind of in line where you take it to purse bid, you get more money. Okay, so that's the first thing. But for me, one of my reasonings would be that if you allowed Bob Arum at the table, if you allowed Frank Warren at the table, two guys who don't like Dillian Whyte, two guys who have openly slated and put down and slagged off and quite clearly don't like Dillian Whyte, you don't want them at the table. So again, with Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, as in his promoter, putting in a purse bid, should he win, then Dillian Whyte, as much as he is the B-side, if you like, because the order of the mandate is that the champion, Tyson Fury, will get 75%. The challenger, i.e. Dillian Whyte, will get 25%. Okay? But at least that way, if Eddie Hearn does not win the purse bid, and again, let's be very clear, Eddie Hearn quite often does not win purse bids, okay? But even if he doesn't, at least you know that maybe your promoter isn't as invested in you as maybe he will tell you that he is. But for me, I think Eddie Hearn will put in a very, very serious purse bid. I really do. I think he's desperate for that fight. But if you negotiate with Bob Arum, if you negotiate with Frank Warren and allow either of these guys at the table, they will quite literally make you feel that you are the away fighter. Frank Warren has history of this, and he'll do it even more so when it comes to Dillian Whyte. He don't like Dillian Whyte. Now, when you win a purse bid, you then own the fight. You will then decide the venue. You will decide the undercard and all the kind of trimmings to go with it. But Frank Warren quite literally makes the away fighter feel like the away fighter. Look at when Denzel Bentley fought Felix Cash. Felix Cash was clearly the away fighter in this one because he wasn't promoted by Frank Warren. Frank Warren made him feel that he was quite literally the B-side in this one. Same thing when Josh Warrington fought Kid Galahad. Remember, Josh Warrington was part of Frank Warren at the time. Kid Galahad was Eddie Hearn's matchroom. Frank Warren won that fight. Kid Galahad, I mean, you even had Frank Warren up there laughing in the face of Kid Galahad. Even his own fighters, when it came to Daniel Dubois versus Joe Joyce, there was a very, very biased way of him choosing the side of Daniel Dubois. Even after the fight, when Joe Joyce won that fight, he was talking about how gutted he was for Daniel Dubois rather than praising Joe Joyce. And the list goes on. So the last thing that in the world Dillian Whyte wants is someone like Frank Warren at the table. You don't want him there. But ultimately, you take it to purse bid. Maybe Frank Warren would win the purse bid. And then you don't have Eddie Hearn at the table because whoever wins the purse bid will then own the whole table. They'll own the show. Okay? So, for example, it'll go to purse bid. As I said, 75% will go to Tyson Fury, 25% will go to Dillian Whyte. Unless, of course, they're going to change it as he is the interim champion. Maybe 70% Tyson and 30% Dillian Whyte. Maybe, okay? But financially, sure, Dillian won't get paid much as Tyson Fury. So you want as much advantage as you can. Now, anybody can put in a purse bid. Anybody. It doesn't have to be Frank Warren, Bob Arum, Eddie Hearn. You could have Ben Shalom of Sky Sports putting in purse bid. You could have Triller, heaven forbid. Okay, you could have anybody put in the purse bid. ITV, the BBC, whichever. And whoever puts in the most amount of money will then own the show. But it's also a bonus financially. Because whoever puts in the most amount of money means that you get paid more money yourself. Do you not? Now, how will the purse bid go? I mean, we need to look at, say, the UK. Okay, this is a UK fight. This fight should be in the UK. Now, I know Bob Arum has recently said that he thinks Tyson Fury should have a homecoming in the UK. Yada, yada, yada. Well, we kind of changed his tune because only a couple of weeks ago he was saying Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte should be in Las Vegas. So if Bob Arum wins the purse bid, where do you think that fight's going to go? Do you think he's going to allow it in the UK? Or do you think he's going to want it in Las Vegas? Right. Now, depending on how you look at it, what side of the fence would Bob Arum sit on? Because obviously he's going to want a UK broadcaster involved. His UK broadcaster is Sky Sports. So if Bob Arum was to win the purse bid, then obviously in America it'll be shown on ESPN, which will then be the final fight for Tyson Fury when it comes to his ESPN contract. But when it comes to UK, will he then give it to Sky Sports, his UK broadcaster, or would he do Frank Warren a favour and put it on BT Sport? What side of the fence will Bob Arum sit on? If Frank Warren was to win the purse bid, it's unlikely that Frank Warren would, but you never know. Then obviously BT Sport would be the UK broadcaster. Then, of course, he would choose the US one, of course, and throughout the world as well. But the US one, would he then go to the PBC? As in Fox Sports, Showtime? Would he go to Bob Arum, ESPN? Would he go to Eddie Hearn, DAZN? No, he ain't going to go to that one, is he? The last one? Certainly not. If Eddie Hearn was to win the purse bid, obviously it's going to be on DAZN in America and DAZN in the UK. And then you will soon see the pay-per-view model for DAZN as well. You will. But what happens if, for example, Ben Shalom, Sky Sports, win the purse bid? Obviously, Sky Sports will be the UK broadcaster. Who will they give it to? Do you think that they will allow Eddie Hearn to have it on DAZN in America? There seems to be a little bit of rivalry there, a little bit of bitterness there. I wouldn't have thought so. So they probably end up giving it to Bob Arum on ESPN. But the point is, no matter where it ends up, you want it on purse bid because that's where you get the most amount for your money. But if Eddie Hearn is serious about this, because obviously he's been talking a lot about how this is a sellout for a stadium here in the UK, all that kind of good stuff, which I believe it is too, then put up the money. If you win, then you own the show. As in, Dillian Whyte will own the show. Tyson Fury will have to go wherever it is that Dillian Whyte says, okay, this is where we're fighting. The undercard is going to be an undercard of my choosing. You have no say in this. But equally, if Frank Warren or Bob Arum was to win it, then Tyson Fury effectively owns the show. They will then put on their own undercard. They can leave Eddie Hearn off the table themselves. And they're all going to want to try and put in serious money. They are. But as I said before, if I'm Dillian Whyte, I would not want Frank Warren at that table. So why would you want to negotiate and allow Frank Warren at the table? After all the things that he said about Dillian Whyte. With the way that he's made fighters who are not under the Queensberry stable feel quite literally like the away fighter. Would you want that? Of course, it's a risk. What if Frank Warren wins the purse bid? Then it's Frank Warren solo, isn't it? And you are going to feel like the away fighter. Anyway, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Personally, I would take it to purse bid. I really would. Tyson Fury will get more money. Dillian Whyte will get more money. And if Tyson Fury generally does not want to fight in the UK, well, you're going to have no choice then, are you? If Dillian Whyte wins the purse bid, as in his team, well, you're going to have to fight in the UK, mate. Unless, of course, Dillian Whyte goes, yeah, actually, you know what? Let's go over to America. Let's go to Jamaica. Let's go to Brazil. Saudi Arabia. You never know. Anyway, my thoughts. You drop me yours. Click thumbs up. Subscribe. Catch you on the next video.